With the NBA finishing up the 2024 regular season, I wanted to give my predictions from all the award aspects. I want to do all the individual ones like MVP, Rookie of the Year, DPOY, and I want to do all the team awards as well. So all NBA teams, all defensive teams, and all rookies. And it's crazy how many guys are considered for these awards and how many honorable mentions there will be. So I can't wait to hear your guys' opinions in the comments of why I'm wrong. But if you guys do enjoy this style of content, I appreciate you dropping a thumbs up. And like always, let me know what you agree with or disagree with in the comments below. If you want to give me all your awards, I'd love to read them. So MVP. It's pretty much a two-man race at this point. It's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, or it's the two-time winner already, Nikola Jokic. And I was going back and forth between the two, and I think it's actually very close. And if there was a reason why they ever got co-MVPs, honestly, I wouldn't disagree with that. But for this video, I'm going to pick someone, and I'm going to go with Nikola Jokic. Now, reason why is I do think that the Nuggets are going to get the #1 seed in the Western Conference. They have about a game lead over the Thunder at the moment I'm recording this video, and I'm all for, if you are on the best team, you should be probably the MVP if it comes down to that. And obviously, Shai and Jokic have better resumes than like the Boston Celtics, Jason Tatum. And I think if Shai got it, I would be okay with it. I mean, he has taken another leap to being a borderline top 5 player overall in this league. But Jokic is averaging 26 points, 12 rebounds a night, 9 assists, shooting 58% from the field, 35% from 3, and 83% from the line. Just his offensive game, I think, is a little bit more impactful than Shai's is. And don't get me wrong, Shai's in an incredible season. And like I said, if he won MVP, I wouldn't really disagree with it at all. I just think that Nikola Jokic has made a little bit more of an impact to his Denver Nuggets team, that it's looking like he's going to finish with a better record than the Thunder in the Western Conference. And I think if the Thunder, in my opinion, got the 1 seed, I'd maybe change my opinion. But right now, I think that the Nuggets are going to get the 1 seed, and that's why I'm leaning a little bit more towards Jokic. You can also throw out some respect for Luka Doncic, but the Mavericks really aren't as good this year to really, I think, warrant an MVP award. Giannis Antetokounmpo having an MVP caliber season as well. But I'm going to opt with the Joker, who's going to get his 3rd career MVP. All right, a much easier award to decide on now. It's going to be Rookie of the Year. Now, there have been 2 phenomenal rookies that aren't going to win this award. Brandon Miller of the Charlotte Hornets, I want to give a shout out to, because he has been an absolute beast for a dumpster fire organization that seems like it could be trending in the right direction. And they made a phenomenal job drafting him over Scoot Henderson, 2nd overall, it looks like. And then I also want to give a shout out to Chet Holmgren. Not really his first year in the NBA. That would have been last year, but he was out the whole season. But he has been a phenomenal rookie. Any other year, he probably would have won Rookie of the Year. 17 points, 8 rebounds a night, 2.5 assists, 54% from the field, 38% from 3, and all defensive caliber defense as well from Chet. Like, it's a phenomenal year, but it's got to go to Wemby. It took a little bit of time for Wemby to get his feet settled in the NBA, but man, he has been just absolutely incredible for the last like 50 games of his career. He's at 21 points, 10.5 rebounds on the year, 3.5 assists, shooting 47% from the field, 32% from 3, 80% from the line. But if we look at just the last 35 games alone, I mean, the numbers are just even better. 22 points, 10.5 rebounds, 4 assists a night, shooting 48% from the field, 34% from 3 on 5.5 attempts a night. Oh yeah, he's also leading the league in blocks, 3.4 a night as a rookie. He's going to be the blocks champion in year 1. And he's a top 3 defender this year, in my opinion. So my Rookie of the Year is going to go to Victor Wembanyama. I think there's a little bit less debate on that one than MVP. So I mentioned Victor Wembanyama in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation. I think he's going to come up just short. I think he's going to be the runner-up, but could probably win this award 5 times in the next 10 years. But I do think that this year's winner will be Rudy Gobert, who would be winning his 4th career Defensive Player of the Year award. Also, just a complete 180 from Rudy Gobert's first year in Minnesota. The Timberwolves this year are the best defensive team in the NBA, and Gobert is averaging 2+ blocks a night. He has an incredible defensive at the rim field goal percentage against, so players are really not finishing strong against them, or they're at least intimidated to go at him at the rim. He is the defensive anchor, the rim protector, the #1 guy on that side of the floor for the best defensive team in the NBA. I think that should help him out a little bit over Wemby, because I think they're kind of neck and neck individually, but when you look at the Timberwolves overall defense and the Spurs overall defense, we definitely are in favor of the T-Wolves. But don't worry, Wemby, like, you're gonna get the next, like I said, 5 Defensive Player of the Years in the next decade. So we'll give this one to Gobert, and then it'll be Wemby time next year. All right, 6th Man of the Year. I think it could come down between 2 guys, but I'm gonna go with Malik Monk of the Sacramento Kings. He has played 70 games this year for the Kings and has not started a single one of them. He's at 16 points, 3 rebounds, and over 5 assists a night, shooting 44% from the field, 35% from 3, and 83% from the line. Malik Monk is going to be a free agent at the end of the year as well, and he's going to get starting caliber money in the offseason. Like, he could get north of $25 million a year because he's still just 26 years old. He was in that 2017 draft class with Jason Tatum and De'Aaron Fox and Donovan Mitchell, and he's having a phenomenal year for the Sacramento Kings off the bench. He's been that third best player, in my opinion, behind Domantas Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox. I think a good runner-up is Norman Powell, and if he won the award, I'd be okay with that as well because his efficiency is off the charts. 49% from the field, 43% from 3, and averaging 14 points a night as well. But with Harden, Kawhi, and Paul George over there in LA, I think Monk is making more of an impact to his team in Sacramento than Norman Powell is for the Clippers here in 2024. So I'm going to opt for Malik Monk as my 6th Man of the Year winner this year. All right, most improved. Most improved, man. This one is definitely going to have some debate. I think most of the year, people were always tending towards going with Tyrese Maxey for this award, and I think I would have given it to him if it weren't for the breakout season of Kobe White of the Chicago Bulls. Kobe White averaged 9.7 points per game last year for Chicago in 74 games. This year, through about 70 games, he's averaging 19.5 points, over 5 assists a night, something he's never done before, over 4.5 rebounds, also something he's never done before, and is shooting 45% from the field, 38% from 3, and 85% from the line, and in my opinion, has been the best Chicago Bull this season. Yes, he's been better than DeMar DeRozan. He's been better than Nikola Vucevic, and he was somebody that was looked at as maybe the 5th best player in the Bulls last year and just has taken such a leap this year on both ends of the floor as well, on being a true top 3 scoring option for Chicago, and at times the number 1 scoring option. That is an insane leap that we saw from Kobe White, where we thought he was going to be like a fringe 6-man guy going forward in the rest of his career. Obviously, Tyrese Maxey is having an incredible season, was an all-star this year, but honestly, when we saw him without James Harden last year, and we all kind of knew once Harden got traded, we were going to see this jump from Tyrese Maxey. We saw the all-star flashes last year. We just needed to see him have a bigger role, larger volume, and yes, it's an incredible season from Tyrese Maxey. And like I said, if there wasn't like a Kobe White level jump and Maxey was going up against like Şengün or Jalen Johnson or Jalen Williams, I think he won the award. But I think since the season Kobe White is having, and nobody expected this whatsoever, is going to earn my pick for Kobe White to be most improved. And now for Coach of the Year. I think there's a couple guys that could be considered for this award. I want to give a shout out to Willie Green in New Orleans, JB Bickerstaff in Cleveland, what he did without Evan Mobley and Darius Garland and still being one of the better teams in the Eastern Conference. Got to give some love to Jamal Mosley in Orlando. Honestly, mowing down teams in the East, we got to shout out Joe Mazzulla of the Boston Celtics, even Mike Malone for the Denver Nuggets who make it the 1 seed. But I'm going to opt for Mark Daigneault, the head coach of the Oklahoma City Thunder, a team that is going to win 50+ games, could still end up as the number 1 seed in the Western Conference, on a team that is right up there with the San Antonio Spurs as the youngest team in the NBA. What he's getting out of his young core, like Shea to be an MVP candidate, like Jalen Williams, who's taken the step in year 2, Chet Holmgren's rookie season, Kaysen Wallace's rookie season, Lou Dort as a 3-and-D player, getting some solid play out of Isaiah Joe and Aaron Wiggins, being a top 5 offensive team in the league, being borderline a top 5 defensive team in the league. Yeah, Mark Daigneault is my coach of the year for the OKC Thunder, and he may win a couple of these throughout his career because he's still a very young head coach. Executive of the year, it's got to go to Brad Stevens of the Boston Celtics. Trading for Drew Holiday and giving up really Malcolm Brogdon and Robert Williams looks like a fantastic deal for them. Trading Marcus Smart for Kristaps Porzingis and multiple first-round picks as well. Yeah, what an offseason for Brad Stevens to put this team on the floor together. He's my executive of the year. As I was digging into the stats for clutch player of the year, I was kind of surprised to figure out that I was going to go with DeMar DeRozan for this award. DeRozan is 2nd in clutch minutes out of anybody in the league this year. He's 2nd in clutch points as well. He's 5th in just overall field goal percentage in the clutch and is 1st in 3-point percentage. They're 23 and 15 in clutch games, and I'm going to go with DeRozan. I think a runner-up could be Steph Curry as well. All right, so let's get into these all-NBA teams. It's the first year that it's positionless, so we don't have to worry about that. I think it's a pretty easy all-NBA first team. The 2 MVP candidates, like I mentioned, Nikola Jokic and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I think we also got to give some love to Giannis Antetokounmpo, who I mentioned in that MVP conversation for what he's been on both ends of the floor. Luka Doncic, what he's putting up individually this season, feels like it's just a 30-point triple-double every other night. Even with the Mavericks record, I think that they'll at least be a play-in tournament team, but I think they'll make the playoffs. So Luka Doncic gets that 4th spot. And then we're going to go with Jason Tatum, the best player on the best team this year. I think that was a very easy All-NBA first team. Let's not overthink it. Now, I think All-NBA second team is where it could get very, very difficult. First guy on here is Jalen Brunson of the New York Knicks. Yeah, what's there not to say about Brunson? He's leading the Knicks and keeping them alive with all the injuries that they've had this season. 27.5 points, 6.5 assists, elite efficiency, was an all-star, first guy on All-NBA second team. team. Next up, we got Anthony Davis of the LA Lakers. Has just been an elite two-way player this year. Has played more than 65 games, so he's going to meet that minimum game threshold. 24.5 points, 12.5 rebounds, good efficiency, and like I said, one of the best defenders in the league. That was easy. Good opt for Kevin Durant as well. He's played north of 65 games also. 27.5 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, just elite efficiency. North of 50% from the field, north of 40% from 3, and 85% from the line. An unreal season from KD, and plus defense as well. I'm going to go with Anthony Edwards, also on one of the better teams in the NBA with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Has been keeping that team alive as well with all their injuries that they've had as of late, specifically to Karl-Anthony Towns. 26.5 points, 5.5 rebounds, 5.5 assists. Yep, all NBA second team for me. And surprisingly, has played 65 games this year. I'm going to go with Kawhi Leonard. Still really good defense, 24 points a night, 6 rebounds, 3.5 assists. It's just the efficiency is off the charts. 53% from the field, 42% from 3, and 89% from the line. That is KD level efficiency with really good defense. Yeah, I'd Kawhi my All-NBA second team. I would have also had Donovan Mitchell here, but he's not going to hit 65 games. Also an odd man out of that second team that you could put in there, and I'd be okay with it. Domantas Sabonis at the Sacramento Kings. This guy has been a double-double and triple-double machine all year long. 20 points a night, 13.5 rebounds, and 8.5 assists for Sabonis. Yeah, he's been just a complete offensive hub for the Kings in the post. 61% from the field, 41% from 3. That's a no-brainer on third team, and if he made second team, I'd be okay with it. All right, I'm going to go with Devin Booker as well, the second Phoenix Sun. They have 10 games left on the season. The moment I'm recording this video, he has to play in at least 7 of them. But first year kind of being a full-time point guard, averaging 27 points, 4 rebounds, and 7 assists a night, shooting 50% from the field, 36% from 3, and 88% from the line. I think he's got to be an All-NBA third team. I know it's been a very weird season from them, and if the Rockets pass them in the play-in tournament, then he shouldn't make this, because I don't think anybody not on a playoff team should make an All-NBA award. But I'm going to have Steph Curry in here just for now because of the individual season he's had. Like I mentioned before, one of the best players in the clutch this season. He's overall averaging 27 points, 4.5 rebounds, 5 assists a night, shooting 46% from the field, 40% from 3, and 92% from the line. Still one of the best offensive players in the league. But like I said, if the Rockets jump them in the play-in tournament rankings and the Warriors just completely miss out on the playoffs, he shouldn't make this. Also got to have LeBron James here as well. He's going to meet that 65 game threshold. 25 points, 7 rebounds a night, 8 assists for somebody in his 21st year in the NBA. Yeah, that's a no-brainer. And lastly, I'm going to go with Tyrese Halliburton. Now, if you didn't want to have him here, that's fine. I have a bunch of honorable mentions that you could put in. Halliburton, I know, has been inconsistent after the All-Star break, but is still having a very good season. Still one of the best passers in the league, 20 points and 11 assists a night, 48% from the field, 37% from 3, and 86% from the line. It's a really good year for Halliburton. There's a lot of guys on the cusp as well. So like I said, if you don't want to have him here and you wanted to have somebody else, I'm okay with that. And those honorable mentions I have: Paolo Banchero of the Orlando Magic, Jimmy Butler of the Miami Heat, as well as Bam Adebayo. You could also put Jaylen Brown here, Tyrese Maxey, De'Aaron Fox, or Damian Lillard. So let me know what you guys think. All-NBA third team is very tough. The all-defensive teams are just as tough. So I'm doing this positional list as well. I don't care. I want to put the 5 best defenders on all-defensive first team. So first 2 players I have, Derek White and Herb Jones. These guys on the perimeter this season have been absolute studs. They should be up there in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation. They probably won't win it, but they have just been elite on that end of the floor. I'm going to go with Giannis Antetokounmpo and Victor Wembanyama as my forward spots. I don't care if Wemby isn't going to be a 4. He needs to be on all defensive first team with the season he is having. Like I mentioned, Giannis has always been like kind of underrated defensively. He deserves to be here. And then at the forefront of it, Rudy Gobert, my Defensive Player of the Year winner. This isn't going to be like a Marc Gasol, Tyson Chandler situation where he wins Defensive Player of the Year and is not on all defensive first team. But watch that maybe happen this year. They're just strict with centers and Wemby gets first team and he's on second team. And then second team, man, this is so tough because I have like 7 honorable mentions. My first 2 guys, I have Alex Caruso of the Chicago Bulls, still a stud point of attack defender. And I also went with Jalen Suggs of the Orlando Magic. He could be in there in the most improved conversation because he has been such an important part to the Orlando Magic's elite defense this season. I think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, though, when you look at the defensive analytics and what he's been providing OKC, I think should get some consideration for all defensive second team. And I'm also going with Jaylen Brown as well, another Boston Celtic, one of the more underrated defenders in the league this season. And that Celtics defense as a whole is just elite in general. And then one more big man spot, I opted for Anthony Davis. I think like there's even an argument for him over Giannis on all defensive first team. And like I said, I have so many honorable mentions. Drew Holiday of that Boston Celtics team, Jaden McDaniels of the Timberwolves, Isaac Okoro of the Cavs, wanted to give him some love. Triple J, Jaren Jackson Jr. on the Grizzlies, still an elite defender. Bam Adebayo, Jared Allen, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and Isaiah Hartenstein, I think also deserves some love as well. You just can't put 20 guys on the all defensive teams this year, sadly. And then for the all rookie teams, for the first team, I thought this was pretty easy. Victor Wembanyama, Chad Holmgren, Brandon Miller, no brainers. And then the last 2 spots, I went with Jaime Jaquez and Derek Lively. And then on second team, this is where it gets kind of interesting because there's some good rookies that I left out just because they're not really going to play more than like 50 games this year. So I went with Bilal Coulibaly on the Wizards, Cason Wallace on the Thunder, Brandon Podziemski on the Golden State Warriors, Asor Thompson with his defensive ability on the Detroit Pistons, and the final spot was Keontae George on all-rookie second team. But if you wanted to have Cam Whitmore, G.G. Jackson, Trace Jackson Davis, Amen Thompson, or Grady Dick, I'm perfectly fine with that as well. Just some of those guys took a little bit of time to develop this year and get just playing time in general, so that's why I kind of let them off of all-rookie second team. But like I said, you could have those honorable mentions on second team, and I'm okay with that. I don't know if I would put them on first team now. So yeah, that is gonna be it for me. I hope you guys did enjoy my 2024 NBA award predictions. Like I said in the beginning of the video, if you agreed or disagreed with anything, and I'm sure you disagreed with some things, let me know in the comments. I'd love to read what you guys have for your 2024 awards. And if you did enjoy this video, I would appreciate you dropping a thumbs up. I love you guys. We're getting close to playoff time, which is very exciting. Around 10-ish games left for every NBA team. I feel like the playoffs this year are just gonna be absolutely elite. I love you guys, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.